this, since you're the computer science students would be very familiar with Ruby programming. So I stay in the city where Ruby programming was created, and the creator of Ruby programming, he initiated through expand and promote the programming language to India and Kerala. There was only a very few Ruby engineers. So the government of Japan, as you know, has a lot of the population of Japan is going down, and we have a lot of 80 plus senior citizens is most in number in Japan. So the government wanted to initiate an exchange program where they can bring in IT engineers from Kerala to Shimane Prefecture. So normally in Shimane Prefecture, most of the students, they just complete their universities and they just move out of these small prefectures. They move to big cities like Tokyo and Osaka and other big cities like Fukuoka and all of that. So the resident tax, for example, we have the municipality in Cochin or in Kollam. Each municipality here gets local tax, resident tax. So that small towns. And because there's the population is less when you take into consideration from graduates who graduate. They don't usually find jobs, and they don't intend to start their career in these small cities. So the government of Sanan region, which is Shimane Prefecture, they initiated this program to facilitate with IT engineers, graduates who are from universities in Kerala, to be selected to come as internship program, which is fully funded by the government of Japan, where they can have this internship program in Ruby programming. And they will be placed in different companies here where they can get a good relation with them, and further, that internship program would help them get a job in that company. So that was the target. And over the last 3 years, more than 40 students have been selected from different colleges in Cochin. And in the 16 seats that allocated, I was part of the engineers allocation, where I represented myself as an IT engineer in 2017. And I came here. It was an amazing experience. I was able to meet the creator of Ruby programming, and it really inspired me. My internship program was just a 14-day internship program, and I was able to, even though I was not able to, I did not know the language at that time, just like basic greetings. So I made use of the opportunity to, collaborate and understand their culture that's common with us and what we like. So I'm sure, like all of you guys know anime. So I used anime as a tool to, connect to myself and, find that common thing that we like between each other, between me and the company that I was placed into internship. So after my internship, I went back to India. I made use of the contacts that I had, and I kept all of them in good touch. I was given an opportunity to work in IT company where I was placed, and but I went back to India and I wanted to start my own IT company, and that's how I started my first mission in Infocom. 6 months after that, we completed. So basically, we just dealt with web development projects, search engine optimization, and digital marketing. But over the course of 8 months, we started our first product, which was IITP, which was an interactive touch panel, which was for shopping malls. And after the launch of that, I did get a contact directly from the previous internship program that I came through, which was the same company that I was placed in. And they contacted me and asked me whether I was interested to collaborate with them with outsourcing. So I was lucky enough to come back to Japan after starting my firm in Kollam. And right now we have a remote team of more than 20 plus developers. And over the past 2 years after coming here, it's been an amazing experience. I was not, the language was very hard for me, but basically there's n number of opportunities for you guys to come to Japan. the only requirement any company would be asking you is the language. So you have to study Japanese. So I can guide you through how you can study Japanese, and I can even answer all of your questions if you have any questions related to career in Japan. So I would request every one of you to send in some questions. Even teachers, professors, you guys also can pull in and give a heads up regarding to whatever you want to know about Japan, and also the opportunities over here. About the opportunities, there's a huge labor shortage over here. So the government is trying to bring in engineers from India, because they take advantage of the fact that Buddhism plays a key role with India. So Indians are very much respected, unlike other countries. In Japan, Indians are very much respected, and it's very peaceful over here. So I'd like to hear all the questions from you guys, so we can take it from there.
Participants, if you have any questions, please unmute yourself or use the chat box to ask the questions, sir.
Can you speak Japanese fluently? Nice question. Yes, of course, I can speak Japanese fluently right now. So the first time I came to Japan, it was very hard for me regarding daily life. It was very hard, but I was able to use this opportunity, I was able to participate in many social events, which is organized in all the cities. So I just met a lot of good people. There were a lot of foreigners, and as I came to when the first day I came, I remember I was taken to the city hall, which is actually we have the collectorate in Cochin, we have the collectorate in Kollam. So the collectorate in Japan is called city hall. So I was taken to the city hall, and there was a lady. She took me to a foreign. There's a coordinator of international relations. That's a person who is a coordinator of international relations in the city hall, and her duty is actually to guide us through daily life. So each city in Japan has given importance to hire Americans, people from Europe, to work as the CIR, which is Coordinator of International Relations, to guide us through daily life. So in the beginning, it was very hard for me, but once I got the guides and all of that, it was very much helpful for me.
So we have one more
And
question.
Japanese also. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Pranay. Yeah. So about Japanese, there are free centers which teach Japanese over here, and I was able to make use of it. And every Tuesdays and Friday, even right now, I still continue to study Japanese. So I can speak Japanese fluently, but reading and writing is very difficult. There is about 2,000 Chinese characters and 46 Japanese characters. So we are talking about 2,046 alphabets. But in a company to work in, it's not required. They will just ask you whether you can understand the language and whether you can speak the language. So speaking the language, I'm sure that every student who is a student in Kerala, he can definitely get this kind of a skill in 6 months if he studies it in Kerala itself. So there are many centers in Kerala who who teach Japanese. And even if any one of you, I utilized my skills in Japanese through Udemy. So I used Udemy as a tool to learn Japanese before I came to Japan. There's Udemy courses. So just like we have IELTS to go to UK and US and all of that, we have this kind of an exam that's here called JLPT. So JLPT is actually Japanese Language Proficiency Test, and there are 5 levels. It starts from N5, N4, N3, N2, and N1. So you can start with N5, and I'm sure like in 6 months you can you can reach up to N4 or N3 level. And if you have the N4 certificate or the N3 certificate, you can definitely do an interview with a Japanese company. And once a Japanese company, to get a job here, everybody thinks it's very difficult. But I can tell you this: if you guys are interested, if you guys are serious, I'm ready to support you guys to get a career in Japan. I can use my contacts, and I can do whatever help you guys want. But the basic requirement they would be asking is Japanese. So the first thing is, now I'm sure like you guys are going to graduate soon. So make use of this kind of a lockdown where you guys can study the language if you have interest to come to Japan. Regarding cost of living, regarding salary, Japan will pay you better than any place, I will say. So there's a number of opportunities, not just in IT, but also in other sectors of engineering as well. Regarding commerce, even if you want to study abroad, I would always recommend that you get a degree in Japan. Like after your BCom, you can definitely apply for MBA if you want to, or any other master degree courses that's available in management. There are a few colleges that I know, so I can connect you with a few Malayalis over here who can also support in the process. So yeah, anything you guys want, just let me know. I can help you guys out. So Pranay asked me, how can I start up a new company? Well, if you want to start up a company, first you have to have the idea. And if you have that idea, it depends on what kind of company you want to start up. Are you talking about starting up in Japan or in India? If it's Japan, it's a pretty long process. It's very difficult to start a company in Japan. Oh yes, but in India. So in India, actually, I was inspired by my dad. So my dad is also an entrepreneur. So startup is actually a company that is private limited or public limited. Private limited. So to start with, I wouldn't recommend you to start a company as a private limited company. If you have an idea, it depends on whether it's like a service-related company, or if it's not a service-related company, if it's like a product company where you're going to sell the product as a service, then these are two different sectors. So if you're looking at a service where you have some skills and you want to earn money through your skills, like example photography or anything else, it's very easy to start a company. I did not start my company as a private limited company. I started under the municipal corporation, municipal license. So you can start as a sole proprietorship. That's the best way to start. I would highly recommend. So you're starting a firm. You're not starting a company. So once you start the firm, you will get an idea about whether your idea is going to be successful. It would not take much of an investment. You might just need a small office space, or you can even rent out a space, a virtual office, which would just cost around 2,000 rupees to start with in Cochin and in Kollam or anywhere else. And you can utilize that small investment, and you can see whether your idea or your service is actually picking up. So usually what other startups usually do as a wrong way of doing things is that they take all the registrations, they spend a lot of money for chartered accountants, they register for tax, all of that. Now, it takes a lot of investment to do that, and it takes a lot of effort, but they're not understanding the main important point that you need to sell your service, or you need to get business. That's why you started a company. So easy way to start a company is to basically just start a sole proprietorship where you control entirely. And it would just take a small investment where you can just start off. And you can, through that process, you don't have to go through any other hassles. To register for GST, you need to have, I believe it is even still until 20 lakhs turnover, you don't have to register for GST. So starting a sole and if it's a service, and then you can go from there, and you can reach out for clients. You can check within the next 6 months, keep a target, and then if your targets are going through, and if you reach that kind of a turnover that you imagine, then it's time for you to change to a private limited company. So I'll just go to the next question. I hope that question was answerable to you. And what I did was I started as a sole proprietorship. I came to Japan, and then I registered all my or everything over here. So it's easy that way as well. And you can anyway change from a sole proprietorship to a private limited company at any point of time. So yeah. Next, konnichiwa. Apart from thank you, Pranay. So Akila asks me, konnichiwa. Apart from culture, what is the huge difference you find in Japanese and Indian? Very good question. So I'll just tell you the first thing. The first day of my internship, when I came here as an intern, we were to arrive at 9 o'clock. So the 9 a.m. was the time we had to start our internship program. We reached there. There were 16 of us, and all of us reached there at 9:30. So the entire we never knew that was the important culture in Japan when we came, but that was very important, because in Japan everything is punctual. If you say that the train is starting at, say example, if it's starting at 4 p.m. 4 p.m. 50th second, the train will arrive at the station, and within 10 seconds. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, it's like on the dot. Everything is on the dot. So punctuality is very important in Japan, and I found that very amazing, because back in India, it's not something bad, but most of us are not that punctual when we compare with Japan, is what I believe, and that is one thing that I found as a huge difference. And also the culture. If you take a look at the food itself, it's pretty hard to start eating in the Japanese food here. So that was also a huge difference, and that's how I started to learning to cook. And yeah, every day I cook Indian food and I have Indian food. So Commerce SF department, a question from YouTube stream. Abhijit. Hi, Abhijit. Hello, Ermin. I couldn't join the Google. Okay. I have a question. What's the bare minimum Japanese that you need to get a job in Japan? Like I said, Abhijit, all you got to do is register for the Udemy course. You start with N5 level. So start with N5. N is for Nihongo. So Japanese, we say Japanese language is Japanese, but Japanese is actually called Nihongo. So Nippon is Japan, and Nihongo is the language. So you have to learn N5 to start with. You can start with N5, go to N4, and once you reach secure companies in Osaka, they just look into the skills. And if you have an experience to learn Japanese, if you show your interest in anime as well, there are friends of mine who came here and also got a job. So it's a pretty good place, because unlike other countries like UK, US, which is filled with Indians, the Indian community here is very limited. So there is a number of opportunities for you to tackle every single day, and whatever you want, you can achieve it, and whatever you think you can achieve it over here is what I believe. Akhil Babu, what is the scope for doing masters in Japan for Indian students? Akhil, there is if you go to the Embassy of India in Japan, their website, if you go there, you will find usually once in a year there is a free scholarship program where students are selected for free scholarship, which is funded by the Ministry of External Affairs in Japan. So it's called the MEXT scholarship. You can just check on that. That's one thing. And another thing is regarding the opportunities you were saying for master's degree. See, I'm a resident for the last 2.5 years. But one thing that I noticed is that if I want to apply for the permanent residency over here, it takes around 10 years. If you don't, so there's a point system. So I can either apply in 3 years if I am considered as a highly skilled professional. So to get yourself as a highly skilled professional, you have to complete there is a point-based system. So the less age you are, you have more points. So if you're above 30, it's very difficult. I'm just 26, so I get around 8 points or something like that. And then my point is, if I studied in a Japanese university, I get extra points. So if you study in a Japanese university, I believe it's the best way to start your career in Japan. There's very limited number of students coming in from Kerala who's taking higher studies in Japan. Very, very limited compared to other countries. But the best part is, if you if you graduate in a Japanese university, you get extra points which will help your permanent residency. The second thing is you will be able to understand the culture. You will be able to experience the culture, experience the work culture, have many Japanese friends, utilize your time to get in touch with many companies, or you can even experience the Japanese culture, which will be very helpful when you start your job. And also, Japanese companies value uh, foreigners who have graduated from Japanese universities. So many Japanese, the best option I would say would be Retsumekin University, which is Retsumekin University. You can just note that down, Retsumekin. It's in Fukuoka, and also they have other branches. But in Shimane Prefecture specifically, they have a collaboration with CUSAT. Yeah, there are many universities which you can just look out and just reach out. Each university has an international cell. You can just send an email and they will get back to you within 1 or 2 working days, I believe so. Yeah. Uh, Someone asked me what are the IT job opportunities in Japan. There's a number of opportunities for IT. You see, like I was telling you, why did Shimane Prefecture initiate this kind of a program to bring in Kerala IT engineers from Kerala to Japan, to Shimane? Because there are no IT engineers over here. There's a huge skill shortage of IT engineers over here, and they want to try to fill that gap because we have a lot of surplus in India. So there's a lot of opportunities for IT in Japan. And as long as you learn to program in Ruby programming or JavaScript or C++ or Python, all of these are really good opportunities that makes you a MVP. So another question from Amal from YouTube Live. I heard that the work culture is very hectic and they work as 7:30 a.m. And for them 12 to 14 hours a day. Is there any truth in this? How easy it is for Indian or Kerala to get accustomed to their work culture? That's a very good question. So before there was problems with the work culture in Japan, but right now there is a law that states nobody can work above 50 hours or so, 40 to 50 hours or so. So usually when I joined here, my timing was totally different. It was not like an ordinary person who starts work. But I know my friends who work as IT engineers. For them, work starts at 8:30 in the morning and gets over at 5:15. So if you're doing a project, there's always a deadline for that project. And if you work above that, you can definitely work above that time. And if you work above that time, you definitely get twice the pay. So you're paid extra. So it's not a place where you have to work so a number of hours where you don't get paid. You get paid, and when you work overtime, you get twice more. So many people tend to work overtime so that they can finish work early, and also they get paid more. So that's one of the benefits. But recently, the government started to have some stress checks. Every 6 months, there is a rule in the government that says that every company should follow health stress checks to their employees. So that is also there in Japan, and yeah, because of that, it's very much controlled. So opportunity for chartered accountant. Akhil actually. Around 2 or 3 weeks back, the Malayali Association over here organized an event with a very famous chartered accountant in Japan. So I'm really not sure about that industry, but I can definitely connect you to him. I'll just put in a message for you guys. You can reach me out on Facebook or Instagram or just email me. I'll just put my details on the chat box on the chat. Yeah. Any questions, guys? Any questions from the professors or the faculty? You guys might have better questions also to ask. So please go ahead and ask me and you guys.
Participants, if you have any questions, please ask. It seems like there are no more questions. Yeah, we'll go
Yeah,
ahead.
one question. Okay. I have a query. I am from arts background, not from commerce background, but having own work is very prestigious. So can you please guide me if I want to own a startup? What should be my preference? One more time. Arts background, not commerce background. Could you please, Samriddhi, could you please specify, like, you said that arts background, but you're not in commerce, but uh, having own work is very prestigious. Can you please guide me to own a startup? Actually, it depends on your skills. So you can definitely just believe in yourself and just try to see whether what could be the target amount that you can achieve, or what do you, if you feel passion in what you do, you should definitely do it. So find what you can do and find what you are good at, and utilize that as opportunity to to be your analyst of your own idea, and analyze yourself. What could be the risks, what could be your strengths, what could be the weakness, and based on that you can definitely evaluate yourself, and from there you will be able to take your own decision, and okay, this will help me reach here, and when I reach here I can do this, etc. So uh, I always have this kind of a 5 to 10 year timeline where I see myself where I want to achieve in this 10 years or in this coming 5 years, and I create not a vague kind of a timeline. I create a very detailed timeline. So I have many targets for 1 year, what I will see that I achieve. And no matter what, I have always seen that I always will achieve it. And of course, there will be delays. Some things might not go as planned. But in the end, at least 50% of what I plan always comes to reality. So it's important that you plan and also you execute at the same time. So that's very important, and that's a small advice that I like to give you. I hope that answered your question, Samriddhi. Department of Travel and Tourism. Uh, oh, you're welcome, Samriddhi. Okay. Regarding tourism, is there a question, or I just think somebody put in a message. Nowadays, it's difficult to start up a company. So, how can we start, and what special skills should we have? See, there's this application. Let me just check that if I can get it for you. I did do this Startup India. Startup India has an application that upgrade. Yeah, this is the one. This is a learning program for those who have no experience in entrepreneurship and just want to start a company. So it's value. It's a good value too. I'll just send you that link. You can download this app on the Play Store, and you can just check that out. I did go through this Startup India tutorial, which covered a few things. It was mainly, most of it was what I knew, but there were some resources that was very important for me to gain more information. So you can go through this kind of a learning program. You get a certificate after you complete it. So yeah, I hope that helps. And regarding special skills, you do not have to have special skills. It all depends on your idea. So if you have a very good idea, definitely you can analyze that idea and see how is Japanese market against the Indian economy. Sanjay, it's really amazing over here. I could say I came here. I started into IT offshore outsourcing. If you take a look here, it's to be very honest, just to give you a better idea. One IT engineer is paid around $50 to $100 per hour. Okay, and in Japan, but back in India, right, how much we pay in 1 month. So even if it's Infosys or big Fortune 500 companies in India, they pay around, starting graduates get paid from 40,000 to sometimes 60 to 70,000 per month. So it's totally different compared to Japan. So here apart from that, people here really spend a lot, and it's really good that they love curry and all of that. So when I came here, I had not much of an idea about what Japan likes and what the market is, etc. But right now we are also doing into many curry related products, an instant curry that's actually curry powder, which we are going to be rolling out in another 2 months into the Japanese market. We did many trials and we were very successful. So we were able to understand, how much what the Japanese market is against the Indian economy. Yeah, it's really amazing. So what is the working culture in Japan? Working culture in Japan. The working culture in Japan. It's really, I can say, to start with, I'll just give you an idea. So 8:30, say example, you start work at 8:30. 8:15, you have to be at office no matter what. If you are late more than 1 minute, that's very bad. That shows that you are not serious about your job. So typical Japanese, they arrive at 8 o'clock in the morning, even if work starts at 8:30. So 8:15, around 8:15, 8:20ish, everybody moves to have their individual meetings, and we discuss about what we are going to do today. We tell it in front of all our teams, and we have mainly a team meeting, and then we explain that what exactly the status is right now, what was the jobs that went pending yesterday, and what the job that I did completed yesterday, what am I going to do today, and what am I going to do to achieve in this week. And if it's a project, we will have an elaborate explanation about when we will complete the work, and what are the challenges that we are facing, and how we will overcome such challenges, etc. So that's the start of the day. That's how it is. And after that, many Japanese companies over here, they have the system of the employees helping to clean your own workspace. So that also is also there in some companies that I know. But then other than that, if work starts, say example, if it's 8:30, it starts around at 9 o'clock. So from 9 to 12, you have work, and then from 12 to 1, you have lunch break, and from 1 to 5, 5:15 or so, you will have the rest of the work. And so IT companies is very flexible compared to other manufacturing-based or other mechanical engineering companies or civil or be it any other industry. IT is very flexible. Right now, because of COVID-19, most of the companies are working from home, and most of the companies have also implemented work from home for the entire year. So yeah, that's how work culture is over here. IT is very much flexible, but I don't think that I would be able to give you a detailed perspective of how it is for factories or industries. But what I know is I have been to many factories like Fujitsu, Mitsubishi. So in Fujitsu, for example, they have this everything. They have a time, and it's all according to their schedule that they work. Extra time is prohibited in some industries, so that's how it is over there. Please let us know how this, Amal asks, please let us know how this COVID-19 pandemic affected the business and job opportunity in Japan. Okay, actually that's a good question. So compared to other countries, we never had a kind of a recession so far. Japan is very much controlled because, like I told you before, Japan has this, what do you say? We have this labor shortage that's already in the market. So companies are very much flexible on that, and the foreigners are very much respected. Recession, I think every foreigner who is working here has a very important role in that company. So his job is not that much affected as of yet. So even if COVID-19 has come in Japan, it has not affected Japan much. the only sector that has been affected in Japan is the travel and tourism industry. I believe so. Yes, and so that's why currently Japan is trying to promote domestic travel. It's giving free bullet train travels. There are many opportunities in what do you say, for a restaurant business, that they are giving free coupons, and the local government is also issuing many free coupons, and which the restaurants can actually reimburse these coupons and get money back from the local government. So the most affected industry is the travel and tourism industry, as well as the hospitality industry, which is restaurants and hotels, etc. But IT is not much affected. I think we will come to know how much effect it will have on IT only in the coming months, because IT companies depend on right now, because of the COVID-19, since everything is going online. Japan was not much of an digital economy. It was not digital. So there was no digital transformation. Even right now, in every office, we use fax machines. So there's a lot of challenges that Japan had to go through, because because they were not ready to get accustomed with work from home. So even if you take right now, in the last 1 or 2, 3 months, um, Japan has overcome that kind of a problems. I will not say that everyone has overcome it, but many companies are overcoming that problems. So that is there. And IT side of it, I think in the future IT will have a very good boom in Japan, because of this particular point, where they have, over the last many years, they have not even digitally transformed themselves. So there's currently the prime minister has changed just recently, last month. So Prime Minister Suga has actually implemented this new kind of new department, which is actually a new ministry specifically for digital transformation. So there's going to be a lot of IT related opportunities in the future, is what I believe. So about even COVID pandemic, etc. So next one, how is the recruitment process in your company? Is it based on experience? Freshers can also apply. So I'll just tell you, I currently reside in a company which is called Shimane Johoshori Center. This company collaborated with my startup, and we are the Indian side partner for them. We handle all their business operations in India. So that's what's happening. Um, the recruitment process in Japan is totally different. Uh, we do not have this kind of an. If you take the recruitment process in India, the human resource HR actually go in search of IT engineers or skills or resources. But in Japan, there's no such kind of a culture. If you come to the countryside, it's very interesting and it's very amusing that to see that you know they do not actually go in search of resources. They give more importance to resources who get in touch with us. So that's the culture over here. So every interview that comes in through this company, I have always witnessed the fact that they are all who have actually contacted them via their website, and then they get the interview through the process. Now, for a foreigner to actually get placed over here, like I said before, Japanese is very important. So try to make use of this time to get the experience. For example, 6 to 8 months Japanese. You can study 3 to 4 hours a day if you can find time. That'll be really helpful. You can also take Netflix, or you can use Amazon Prime and just watch everything in Japanese. Also, that's really good. Is digital marketing important for startups, and how? Yes, digital marketing is very important for startups. Actually, for outsourcing companies, their main clients are startups. So startups actually they invest a lot in digital marketing as well, because one product that they have an idea, it would be actually derived from an already existing idea or an already existing product, and they will just add many new features to that, which would be the plus point of that particular product. So on the other hand, they are a competitor. their competitor, say example ABC company. This ABC company already has a similar product which is already there in the market, and they have spent millions of dollars for digital marketing. So the most important point here is that these startups look for investment, and most of the money goes into digital marketing now. So digital marketing is very important for startups. If you want, Mahima, if you want to actually start your own company, I would recommend that you do a digital marketing course, or take a Udemy course, which would just cost you around 400, 500 rupees in India, and that could just give you a heads up to go ahead. How is management field in Japan? Actually, management field in Japan is very hard to get for foreigners, but actually management field, if you are interested to do management field, like example project management, or sales representative, or digital marketing, or anything regarding the IT side, or I hope you're relating to IT anyway, I would highly recommend that you take an MBA in Japan. You can definitely reach out to, just search universities in Japan on Google, try to get in touch with them, send them an email, send them a resume, explain your intention and why you choose Japan. You have to have these points very important, like why do you want to choose Japan? You have to have a very valid reason. Like example, you could say that I really love anime, I like Dragon Ball Z, and through that anime I was very much so I researched about Japanese culture. I fell in love with the Japanese culture, and that's how you can just pitch in yourself and explain why you choose Japan. That's very important. So try to reach out to these universities and try to get an MBA over here, and then you will be able to definitely get a career in Japan. I'm 100% sure about that. Another question here. I have attempted to write N5 level exam, but getting the application was problematic as nearest center is Bangalore or Chennai. Is there a center in Kerala? Can we procure application through post? I tried to apply in 2015. Is there any chance to in scenario? I would highly recommend you to contact me directly. I'm not sure about doing the exam in India or in Kerala, and it's very good that you pointed out this problem that's there. I can definitely reach this information out, and probably we could find a solution to it. So please send me an email. I'll definitely forward it to my connections here, and we'll try to sort it out. I'm also a member of the Indo-Japan Chamber of Commerce and ASA Kerala, which is the Alumni Society of AOTS Tokyo in Kalamassery. So there's Japanese. So they are actually having this Nippon Kerala Center, which is in Kalamassery itself. So they also have these Japanese courses to learn Japanese. Recently, the Kerala government has started a new way of teaching Japanese, which is actually some residents are selected to teach Japanese to students in Kerala. So I will be able to help you through this this problem that you mentioned to write the exam. So let's have a talk with those who are actually involved in the Alumni Society of AOTS in Kerala. Indian restaurant business in Japan. Vegetarian. Somebody, it's very sad to let you know, but Japan, I don't think a vegetarian restaurant would have much of a scope here, because it's very limited to see the number of people who are vegan. So people here like to have raw fish, or pork, or which is entirely fried, cooked, whatever. So we have mainly non-veg is what Japanese prefer to eat, and it's not that they have it every day, but I think they usually have it every day. I believe so, because many Japanese friends who I know, whenever I tell them that I want to try vegan, I have done this before, and I have tried to organize these kind of curry parties after I started to cook. I organized many curry parties in my city called Izumo, and yeah. So from I think someone is on. Yeah, so that's the scope of Indian vegetarian restaurants. It's very difficult in Japan. I don't think it would survive. Most of the restaurants over here are non-veg restaurants, even Indian non-veg restaurants. I hope that answered your question already. Someone could mute the mic of someone who's making noise. It would be helpful. I cannot hear properly. So the next question. I think I need to ponder over some other option in the field of business in Japan. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Another question is, how did you handle adversity and doubt about business? That's true. Now, when I came to Japan, before I starting my company, I I was so much. I think everybody goes through this kind of passion, that kind of feel that oh my God, we need to start the company. We need to. We'll have that kind of adrenaline rush, which will will inspire ourselves to to think more, and we would be carried away about the risks, and we might not even think about what are the risks in place. We might not tend to think much more about that risk. So managing all that is very important. Like I said, I was inspired by my dad, and my dad told me that he will not spend a single pie, a single rupee, to actually support my business. So within the first 3 months, I had to prove myself, not to him, but to myself. So I took it as a challenge. I made use of his contacts. That's the only thing I reached out to him for. We reached out to many of his clients. So it was really helpful. And I slowly, of course, there were many challenges. I reached out to many family friends, many of my dad's business contacts. And through that contact, I just, like I said, I provided with web development. So what I basically did was I just developed a website, a demo of their website before I seen the client. I wanted to impress him. So I targeted those who have not actually, updated their website for more than 3 to 4 years and still has the old kind of a design. So I took a lot of the contacts that I had, and I reached out. I checked their websites and all of that, and I scheduled a meeting with them. And just before the meeting, I made sure that I had a demo of the new design that I have, and I just presented that to them, and they were very much impressed. And luckily, I did get projects through that. And in just 3 to 4 months' time, I was able to fund my own office, and that's how I started my own office. When I started, it was just me running the show. I did not have a single staff, or I did not employ anybody else to handle anything. So it was entirely me when I started, and that's very important. I think it's very important that you try to reduce your cost in the beginning, and you try to understand what you are capable of, whether you can be successful. So whether your idea is going to work out, whether it's going to, it's better to not to take any liabilities in the beginning, but understand whether your idea is going to work out well, just like how you expect it to do. So that's what I actually did, and I was really successful in that. I did 3 main projects that fetched me good money to start my own office, and I established my own office in the center of Kollam. If you have been to Kollam, you must be aware about Chinnakada. So in Chindakara, my office is actually in Bishop Jerome Commercial Complex, it's a place which is known for businesses to be in Kollam. So I did want my office to be there so I could represent it and reach out to many small and medium-sized businesses for digital. My main idea, and that's when we had this. The notes were banned, and Prime Minister Modi had announced the ban of notes in India. So at that point of time, many local small and medium-sized businesses were affected, and that is when I decided that I need to, reach out to small and medium-sized businesses, and we digitally transformed more than 800 businesses over the past 3 years right now. So even though it's small money, even if it's a very limited money that you think of, it's very good to start very small. That's my main point. So make sure you start small, and then take your business gradually through baby steps. So that is very important to have a very good base, and that's how you gain confidence as well. And slowly, when I reached here, I tried to implement all these kind of small baby steps that I took before. And it's just like going over the same routine when I established myself over here to reach out to many clients over here as well. So, and that's how I actually overcome. That's how I overcame this kind of doubt that I had about my business. Yeah, I hope that answered your question. Is there any Indian community to help you in Japan to help you? Of course, there's a huge Indian community because we are very much limited in Indians in Japan. There is only 27,000 Indians from all over India who's in Japan, compared to the millions that you have in other countries. So the Malayali community itself is very, very, very small. So we have two associations called the Nihon Kairali and also the World Malayali Federation Japan. They are very much helpful. It's not like other countries, here it's like even the Indian communities here follow the Japanese kind of culture, which is very loving and very helpful in every way. So that's also there. The Indian community really helped me in a lot of ways. We were able to organize. I was able to get invited when even the Prime Minister Modi came to Japan. I was invited for that event, which was only around less than 100 people were invited. Then I also had the opportunity to meet Honorable Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan when he came to my prefecture. So the embassy in India is very supportive over here. I'm really grateful for the embassy, the amount of the support and all the help that they extend to Indian communities over here is really amazing. What are your views on managing stress of having a successful business? Some really nice questions. So something else that apart from my business is I'm also a musician. So I have my YouTube channel, YouTube/Ermin Cruz. You can check me out. It's not much active, but I did actually music inspired me in every other way. So my TEDx speech and my TEDx talk was actually about music, how music can mold your life, how music can mold future generation. So music is something that I love. I play the guitar, I sing. Mainly I'm actually trained to Western music, singing Western vocals. I play the piano, I play the guitar, and I sing. So yeah, you can check me out on YouTube, and that's how I actually manage my stress. I have written songs. Each time I write a song, I always get this kind of a rewarding feeling that helps gain confidence in me. So that's how I would say music is the antidote for me to believe in myself, even when I want to do any kind of business, or even any time I want to, even if I fall down or even if I fail, because I did music. So speaking of music, I'm saying about writing your own songs, or listening to a song on the radio, or not on the radio, listening to a song on Spotify, and then able to play that song immediately on your guitar. So this is something that I'm very much able to do. And when I do that, I get this kind of a rewarding feeling. And I'm talking this kind of a feeling which I experienced right from the beginning. So I started into music at the age of 5. So yeah, music was really gave me that kind of a rewarding feeling to believe in myself, and that's how I manage all my challenges as well, which I go through even in Japan, even the daily life over here, or even if it's business challenges, even if it's failures that happens to me, and even if it's certain achievements that I'm not able to achieve, which I've marked that I should achieve. So yeah, uh, you can just find out something that inspires you, or some of you might not be able to do that, like how I was able to do, but any hobby that you find yourself to do that gives you happiness, I think you should use that as a tool to help you overcome certain challenges in life, and managing stress, etc. So is there gender inequality clause in Japan that most of the higher rank jobs are given to men? Ye- to an extent, I believe so, Akila. I'm really sorry to tell you that, but I'm not sure. But if you take a look, I know many entrepreneurs who are actually, I know many entrepreneurs who are women who actually, are very successful. During my TED talk, there was this one lady who was called Hara, and she actually is a successful entrepreneur into the fashion industry. So I was very much inspired to know about that as well. And there are many successful entrepreneurs as well. So there's not much of a gender inequality. Of course, I believe that there are a lot of what do you say? There are a lot of most of the presidents of companies, etc., are actually men. So, but at the same time, if you take in politics, recently it's the other way around. So there are very successful politicians as well. So that's going to change anyway. It's not something that's going to be fixed. So yeah. What kind of a person makes a successful entrepreneur? To me, I think a person who believes in himself, and a person who is able to accept the challenges and work for it, and gives his full potential to that. That is very important. If those who have self-confidence with them, who can believe in themselves, I think that makes him. It gives him. It should not be. I'm not talking about overconfidence, but I'm talking about able to analyze yourself, able to analyze your idea, or if you have an idea that you want to diversify yourself into another industry, you should be able to analyze yourself. Is that fit for you? Is that going to work out for you? How will you manage? Is this going to affect your other businesses, or if it's just inside to start a company, if it's just to start a startup? The most important factor for an entrepreneur is to actually analyze himself. Whether it is it's going to be worth it, and if it's worth it, definitely you should go for it. So that kind of an attitude is very important, I think so. How much important is mental peace for being an entrepreneur? Mental peace is very much important. Like I said before, I practically on Sundays I make it a point that I dedicate myself to the church, as well as the Catholic community, as well as music. So whenever I feel disturbed, I make sure my guitar is there with me. So yeah, that's how I feel. You should be the stress should not be there inside you, and you should try to overcome stress and do something that you love as well, and find time for everything. It should not be just that's the best part of Japan. If you come to Japan, they give importance to everything, including family life and all of that. And it's really amazing to see how the parents look after their kids, even though how much busy they are. I had the opportunity to speak to and have a great connection with the executive advisor of Mitsubishi Industries. So he's the executive advisor of all Mitsubishi in the company, the Mitsubishi Industries Limited. So Mr. Seiji-san, so he actually has. I was inspired to see, to learn from him what all he's doing, because I follow him on social media. It's really amazing to see, such a busy guy, such a big entrepreneur figure like him, to find time for equally to everything, including his family life and etc. So, yeah, I think mental peace is very important, and finding time to everything is also important.
So, any more questions?
Is there tax department opportunities for us? Tax department. Recently, the tax here increased by 0.5%. Right now, we are 10% tax. So I'm not sure. I'm not the right guy for that, I believe. But like I said before, someone else had a question related to chartered accountants. So I will be able to send you a connection that I know who can answer your questions. So just reach out to my mail. I've put my details, my contact details. Search that out from there and just reach out to me. How do I determine startup costs and other expenses? Well, that's very important. Now, if you take a look of me, about me, I perfectly know how much I'm going to spend and what I budget for even electricity in my company next year. So that's very important. You have to have entire cost structure and manage your expenses, have a target in profits, and make sure you increase the budget that you have for certain expenses. So it's very important that you keep a buffer range of amounts that you can increase, and then even though it's not going to cost so much, you make sure that okay, it might not come so much, but I'm anyway going to keep this kind of a budget for this particular expense. So that's very important that you manage your expenses and manage your cost. And it's very important to have a 2 to 3. I would recommend a 5-year plan, but it's kind of impossible. But 2-year plan is very important. Because you'll definitely have this timeline where you will reach and where your company will reach in another 3 to 4 years or 5 years. So based on that, having a expense for 1 financial year or 2 financial years is always a plus. Does the companies in Japan offer education? Yes, very good question. Actually, in Japan, there are certain companies that I know, certain MNC companies in Japan that I know of. They actually, if you study in the company, if you work in the company for around 2 years, and after you completing 2 years of experience, the company will allow you to keep your job as well as work part-time. So that is something that's really amazing. You can work part-time as well as you can study at the same time, and that would actually help support yourself. So that is happening. I know one of my friend who's working in the company where I am right now. The company that I said I collaborated with, so he is actually heading the robotics team. The company needs him, so therefore they are actually sponsoring his travel cost to Tokyo every month for him to do his part-time course in PhD. So he's doing his PhD and take around 10 days of holidays in a month to go to the classes as well. So there are companies who provide full scholarship programs as well. So it depends on each company. Yes. You're welcome. So I think we covered a lot. And any other questions?
So it seems like there are no more questions.
Yes, I do believe so.
Thank you, sir, for giving us this wonderful session. It has enlightened us about the various job opportunities and avenues in Japan. Thank you, sir.
That's great.
Now, I invite Anagha Ambi, SEM 5, BCom Computer Applications, to extend the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, all. It is my privilege to have to propose the vote of thanks. I would like to thank Mr. Ermin, the speaker, for the day. He had given an insight with regard to job opportunities and a little bit about the lifestyle and working routines in Japan. He also shared necessary details so that we could approach for more, knowing more and for enlightening us with a lot of new information which is really beneficial for our future. And also, thank you, sir, for answering and clarifying all our questions. He was so kind enough to accept our invitation and joining for today's program. I would like once again I would like to thank you, sir. I would like to thank our Vice Principal, Father John Christopher, for helping us in program organizing such an thank Faculty Coordinator Mr. Amal MR, our HOD Jeffrey setting up such a webinar. And also like to thank all the faculty members of Department of Commerce, Department of Computer Science, and Office of International Affairs for providing such webinar. Finally, I would like to thank all the participants presented here and cooperating with this webinar. And unfortunately, this is a collaborate program of two departments of computer science and commerce. We had expected the Google Meet participants of 250, but we had received the 350 participants. Unfortunately, today the Google Meet had allowed only 100 participants. So we had first made our YouTube stream channel including maximum participants. Sorry for this inconvenience. So many could not join the meeting, and thank you all for participating. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Anaka. So, participants, the feedback form link has been shared in the chat box. Please fill it in order to get the e-certificates. So, with this, we have come to the end of this program. So, once again, thank you everyone for joining this session, and I wish you all a